Hello and welcome. I'm Julia, and this is the second part of my Paradox Trap Answers series. We're going to discuss 3 more trap answers that you'll run into on the GMAT when you're dealing with resolve the paradox questions. As a reminder, those are the questions that present 2 seemingly contradictory statements, and to answer them correctly, we must explain how both statements can be true. Here are the 3 trap answer styles I'll be covering today. Answers that seem to contradict one of the facts, answers that bring up related but ultimately irrelevant information, and answers that discuss the paradoxical facts without explaining how they can coexist. We're going to look at some examples of each style. Since we must take premises and info presented in any critical reasoning passage as true, a paradox couldn't be resolved by contradicting or weakening one of the statements that we need to reconcile. A country increased its healthcare spending by 30% over the past 3 years. During the same period, key health outcomes such as life expectancy and disease rates have not improved. The funding was primarily allocated to hospitals and specialized treatment centers. Here are our 2 facts. 1, the country significantly increased its healthcare spending over the past 3 years with a focus on hospitals and specialized treatment centers. And key health outcomes, such as life expectancy and disease rates, have not improved. What if our answer was the healthcare system improved access to care for lower income groups, resulting in more people seeking treatment? This choice might seem to contradict the premise about key outcomes not improving if these people have improved access to care and more of them are seeking treatment, so it does not work. The country experienced an economic downturn which significantly reduced tax revenue. This might seem to contradict the fact about the country increasing healthcare spending. Whether or not the country experienced an economic downturn, we know for a fact that it increased its healthcare spending by 30% over the past 3 years, so this doesn't help us. Compare that to the funding allocation prioritized building new hospitals, which have yet to become operational. This choice offers a reason that the increased expenditures haven't yielded any results in key health outcome improvements yet. The people aren't able to use the hospitals that have been purchased, so from their perspective, nothing has changed, and you wouldn't expect their key health outcomes to have improved from hospitals that they don't yet have access to. The correct answer to a paradox question must address both aspects of the paradox. If it doesn't do that, it cannot resolve anything. A city's population has increased by 10% since last year. Despite this increase in population, the number of homes sold in the last year has decreased compared to the year before. What are our 2 facts? 1, the city's population has increased by 10%. 2, the number of homes sold has decreased during the same period. Let's look at some answers. The city is home to a large university with a growing student body. This seems to offer some info on one potential cause of the population increase, and if we're not careful, we could even construct a mental story about university students not being in the market for homes, but it doesn't clearly resolve the paradox. The revenue from home sales has increased over the last year. The implication of this answer is that the homes that are selling for more on average than the homes that sold 2 years ago. However, we don't know how much more, and we don't really know how many less homes, only that the number of homes sold has decreased. We don't know how much the people who live in the city can afford to spend on a home. We don't even know if there is like a single castle in the town that sold for some absurd amount last year and it's skewing the averages. Without more information, this doesn't help us resolve the paradox. Due to the city's growth during the last decade, the city's builders had been producing homes at a steadily increasing rate until a supply chain issue delayed the completion of many of the homes slated to be finished in the past year. This answer offers a potential reason for the paradox, a decrease in available homes for sale. Even if more people are moving in, if there are no homes to buy, then they aren't going to be buying homes. Elaborating on the facts isn't enough. The correct answer must offer info that allows us to reconcile the two facts if we're going to resolve the paradox. A coastal region has experienced a significant rise in average sea temperatures over the past decade. Despite this rise in temperature, the population of Arctic gills, a fish species known to prefer colder waters, has increased in the same region. Studies confirm that Arctic gills do not adapt well to warmer waters. What are our two facts? 1. The sea temperature in a certain region has risen significantly. 2. A certain fish species known to prefer colder water and shown to not adapt well to warmer water temperatures has flourished despite the temperature increase. Let's look at some answers. The rise in sea temperature has caused significant changes in the ecosystem, affecting many species. This answer doesn't offer any specific information to resolve our paradox, though it does discuss related information. Arctic gills have been shown to eat some species of smaller fish that are well suited to warmer temperatures if their preferred diet isn't readily available. This answer might be tempting and does explain something about Arctic gills, but as we know from the argument that they don't adapt well to warmer water, it doesn't explain how their population is growing instead of staying the same, even if they're willing to eat some species that would find this new temperature more appealing. How about the warmer temperatures caused predators of Arctic gills to migrate to other areas, reducing predation pressure. This shows how the trade-off of warmer temperatures might favor the Arctic gill's population growth, even if the fish themselves aren't good at adapting to warmer temperatures. If there are less predators to worry about, that could potentially offset the Arctic gill's temperature preference. Let's look at an example that features these traps. A pharmaceutical company developed Apticor, a new drug that reduces cholesterol levels. Clinical trials showed that patients who took Apticor for 6 months experienced significantly lower cholesterol levels. Lower cholesterol levels are associated with better heart health and reduced risk of heart attacks. However, patients taking Apticor were found to have a higher risk of heart attacks compared to those who took a placebo. Which of the following, if true, most helps to resolve the apparent paradox? We're going to look through each of these examples in turn. Let's define our two facts. Fact 1. In clinical trials, Apticor reduced cholesterol levels, and lower cholesterol levels are associated with a reduced risk of heart attacks. Fact 2. Patients taking Apticor were found to have a higher risk of heart attacks compared to those who took a placebo. A. Some participants in the clinical trial may have had pre-existing conditions that predisposed them to heart attacks. This contradicts a fact. Part of the argument is that there were clinical trials, and this implies that perhaps the trials weren't conducted reliably. It does not resolve the paradox. B. Cholesterol is only one of many factors that contribute to heart attack risk. This offers related information that's ultimately irrelevant. It says something about cholesterol and its relationship to heart attacks, but not in a way that helps resolve the paradox. C. Apticor was shown to reduce cholesterol levels more effectively than any competing drug on the market. This discusses part of the paradox and even reinforces part of it, but it doesn't resolves the paradox. E. The company is planning to sell Apticore at a price level that's lower than its competitors because they know that pharmaceutical costs can cause stress that leads to poor health outcomes. This offers some info on one of the facts without resolving the paradox. And D. Apticore has a side effect that increases blood clotting, which is a major cause of heart attacks. This offers an explanation of how the two paradoxical facts could be simultaneously true. So this is our best answer. By arming yourself with the knowledge of these common critical reasoning trap answers and how to avoid them, you are one step closer to a great GMAT verbal score. I'll see you next time.